ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty, and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. We are here for the Wrestling Classic. Things have changed since the last episode. I have massively reduced the production values of MAW. Why, you ask? Well, I think that one's quite simple. We lost a lot of money. We're in trouble. I forgot how ridiculously harsh this game was these days on really small companies. MAW is really easy to keep afloat in 2013, as you may remember, as long as you turned... Oh, that reminds me. I have to check jug testing after this show, because you used to have to turn that off in 2013 to stay afloat. I wonder if I forgot to do that in this save. But also, one of the things that really kills you is productions. So I ended up raising all this stuff to keep up with Rhode Island. You can't do it. You just can't do it. It costs way too much money. So I've reduced it all again. I'm not sure whether I reduced it all the way to the bottom, like where I was used to. But I might legit just downgrade everything until we're making a profit of some sort. It is going to have a massive penalty on our show grades, but I don't really mind that too much. We're just looking to stay afloat at the moment. We started with 100,000, and yeah, we spent a lot on workers last month, but that's a ridiculous loss, and I'm hoping that we don't take it again this month. It sucks that I had to upgrade then downgrade, because that means I've just wasted money. It costs money to upgrade in the first place. So when I do it in the future, because we are going to upgrade at some point, it's going to cost us. It's going to be some sunk cost, is what I'm saying. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough little game. It's not going to be the easy stroll to the top that the last MAW series was, but that's okay. We have a really fun roster, and I'm hoping it sees us through. So let's get started. There has been no pre-announced matches before this card. Although, actually, no, there has. Okay, on the MAW website, it was announced that following the tag team match last month, we are going to have individual one-on-one matches between the two tag teams from last show. So we're going to have Cameron Jones taking on Tyrone Gray and Sid Collier taking on Nate DeMarcus. And, of course, we have announced that tonight, Roderick Remus is back. So let's get into it. So Roderick Remus starts off the show by coming out and saying, I've been on the shelf for a couple months now. I guess not a very long time. But everything that I've been thinking about since I've been on the shelf was that if I didn't fall badly, hit my head, if I didn't get that nasty concussion, I would have never lost that match. I would have never lost my title. And so I've been granted a rematch whenever I want, and I choose tonight, because this is the Wrestling Classic, and the fans deserve a match they can be proud of. So tonight in our main event, it'll be Roderick Remus versus Greg Gage, the rematch everyone has been waiting for, and Roderick Remus is going to be a city slicker. Good stuff. We're going to our opening match of the evening as Miller Ford defeats Jonah Pilgrim in a 29E. Great. You look at these two dudes and you're like, that looks like a boring match. And I think to myself, that's a boring match. And we're an indie. We sometimes going to have these matches. The crowd likes Miller Ford a little bit, but this is just going to be moves for the sake of moves. There is nothing in this match to get excited about whatsoever. But this match is a little bit better as Cameron Jones defeats Tyrone Gray. And in this match, this is a pretty one-sided match, as Cameron Jones in Shoot was off his game tonight, but in Kayfabe was performing extremely well. Cameron Jones is, of course, a very competent professional wrestler and dispatches Tyrone Gray with relative ease, showing to the fans that not just is he a competent tag team wrestler with a very good wrestling friend, but he's also a very competent singles wrestler in his own right. As we move on to the next matchup, which is George Wolf taking on Cheetah Boy, and in about that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Cheetah Boy defeats George Wolf with a flying cheetah pounce after Miller Ford distracts George Wolf. So what I'm thinking here is that Miller Ford is literally accidentally walking out to the ringside, and George Wolf is like, yo, that's Miller Ford, he beat me last year, fuck you, and he heads to the ropes to talk to him or something, or just shout at him and scream at him, and then Cheetah Boy just hits him with the flying cheetah pounce and wins it. So, it's a pretty back and forth match. It's pretty open. But George Wolf gets caught after he gets distracted by Miller Ford. Miller Ford is in George Wolf's head, or so we think. So we move into our penultimate match of the evening, as in a 34 E+, Nate DeMarcus, with a snap tackle, defeats Sid Collier. Interesting. So, obviously, last month we had the Dynamite Express defeating DeMarcus and Tyrone Gray in a tag team match. And, of course, last year we had DeMarcus and Tyrone Gray defeat the tag team champs in a non-title match. And so it's pretty even on the tag team front. And it's also even in the singles front, with Cameron Jones defeating Tyrone Gray, but Nate DeMarcus picking up the victory over Sid Collier. Is it possible that there is a potentially exploitable weak link in the Dynamite Express? I'm sure we will find out as the months go by, as we move into a 50D plus promo from Greg Gage, who comes out before his match and says, you know, Roderick, I agree. You got a hard time of it, and maybe I have been thinking over these last few months that I don't deserve to be champion, not world champion. I don't deserve to be champion. Maybe that thought has crept into my head, but I believe in myself and I believe in my wrestling ability. Tonight, Roderick, I'm going to prove to you that I deserve to be champion. And in the main event of the evening, in a 59C, Greg Gage defeats Roderick Grimos by submission with a proton lock, and Greg Gage makes defense number 2 of his Mid-Atlantic Championship. Now, I didn't make this tainted because I felt that was the incorrect road agent note to use, but it's important to mention that in my head and in the way the match actually went, there's a little bit of contention, because when Roderick tapped out, his foot was on the bottom rope. The referee did not see it. It wasn't like Greg cheated or anything, but the ref missed Roderick getting his foot on the bottom rope. And so, maybe this feud isn't over after all. The show gets a 39D- as all of the production values come back to bite us in the ass. But a very spectacular main event, one of the best you'll see anywhere on the independent scene, as Greg Gage retains his title in controversial fashion. Perhaps we will hear more about it next month. Hopefully we'll still be a company next month. And I'd like to say this right now, that if we do go under, if we do go bankrupt, then the series is probably over. As funny as that probably sounds in month 2 of the entire series. I may restart. I may see if I can get more afloat. I probably should have done a few tests before I started this series to see if I could keep the ship afloat. But I thought I'd just jump in, see what happens. So yeah, wish me luck. Hopefully there is a next show. I'll obviously make a video if we go bankrupt and tell you guys what's going on. But it could very well be the case that we are on the verge of death, my friends. But we will stare at it boldly. We will stare at it bravely, and we will continue to do what we do best. Join us next time as we continue the fallout from this very controversial title match and see what exactly is the plan going forward. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you.